old days, this was power. This is coal, and I'm at Holcot Steam Rally looking at some vehicles of yesteryear.
But it wasn't just steam-driven vehicles and displays at Holcot Steam Rally and Country Fair this year. As well as a ploughing competition undertaken by tractors of all ages, displays of horse, veteran and vintage cars, there were many more up-to-date attractions, including the very appealing passion dancers, the very ear-shattering tractor pulling, and for those who wanted a once-in-a-lifetime thrill, helicopter rides. And talking of airborne vehicles, we found the Rushton Silver Band at Holcot playing this familiar movie theme. And yes, the star of the movie itself was there, giving rides to thrilled children and adults alike. Have you guessed what it is yet?
Actual car from the film, and as I was flying across from Coventry to Birmingham, I spotted this lovely traction engine show, so I was on cloud 9 for about 10 minutes, and I hovered, and here we are. So we just landed really, and the engine's still warm, and the music still played. Marvellous, all right?
It is very, very nice indeed. Obviously, as you say, this was the vehicle that was used in the 19...
Correct. Now you'll see me driving Chitty before the magic, because I'm driving old number 3 in the black and white sequence in the beginning of the film, and then we crashed, and then the magic started because Jeremy and Jemima found Chitty in Mr. Coggins' scrapyard, and hence the magic started. And the bonnet was made out of and we're sitting in the little rowing boat, after Cradicus Potts had been fishing for shark on the river. He thought, what are we going to do for about a seat? And then marvellous idea. So he got the boat, turned it into the back and front seat, and you're sitting, may I ask and add, that you're sitting with truly scrumptious sat, and you're very nice. And Cradicus Potts sat here, and in the back was Jeremy and Jemima. Another bit of historical fact, because Northampton, many years ago, before the 1980s, is that the Corgi toys were made here in Northampton.
Fantastic.
And that's in the night. And then it all went sort of haywire, what have you, and then it moved then to Cardiff, and but Northamptonshire has a real connection with Corgi, which had the original Citty Citty Bang Bangs, which came out in 1968. And this is another one of us, and the number plate, by the way, is Gen 11, which is Geni in Latin, as in magic.
Aye.
And our dear friend, which is, I think, is it Northamptonshire or Bedfordshire, is Count Zabrowski, that originated all the original Chitties, because Ian Fleming wrote the story, and Roald Dahl wrote the screenplay. He funded the early Aston Martins, which, as you know, are in the James Bond, 007.
Yes. Citty Citty Bang Bang, as a film and as a kind of play.
That's right, because you see, we've been travelling here, there and everywhere. When we, in October, we're going to be at the motor show at the NEC. And then we're going to London to do the Harrods Parade. So we travel and fly all around the universe, and we stop off probably on that tree tomorrow morning, and I'll have a chat with the seagulls and the red-winged parrots and all that. So really, it's all magic, you see. And lots of boys and girls, they say, where are the wings? And they're underneath.
They are
because
underneath.
of health and safety. We can't get them out because we're not really a helicopter, so we really can't hover. So when wings appear, we're off.
Excellent. Right, well, I think we'll go. If you can give us a honk on your horn.
A honk on the horn, all right?
That's probably the best way to go.
Now, what we'll have to do now is we'll have to start the car, but then you'll see me move. So put some more fixative on your teeth.
I'll strap myself in well. Here we are. The engine's starting. Chitty's going. What an incredibly raw.
We're off now.
We're off.
There you go. That's it. Goodbye. Bye, there you go. Goodbye. Bye.
Say to Northampton TV.
Bye,
I'm
there
off,
you
Steve.
go. Bye.
But Chuck's not finished with Citty Citty Bang Bang yet. Instead of flying off into the sunset, he's taken up a bit of bedtime reading.
The Baron's agents kidnapped Grampa, mistaking him for Chitty's inventors. Well, here we are in Grandpa's hut at the Holcot Steam Rally and Country Show.
And surprisingly enough, Grandpa's hut now lives locally in Malton.
I just like the movie, really. Yeah, and it's one of those films that everybody can associate with. But we've had children here 2 or 3 years old, and people 50 years old, fascinated by it and the whole film. One thing that most people remember from the film is the child catcher.
Obviously, because he
The
was a
child
very,
catcher.
very scary
It's a
character.
very scary character
And as
indeed.
when we watched it when we were kids, that was what
Yeah.
made us wince a bit.
Very, very frightening, yeah. And this year, the stage play in the West End has just opened, and Richard O'Brien
Yes.
plays the child catcher, formerly of Crystal Maze. Oh, there you go, yeah, absolutely excellent. I went to see it, and he was spot on.
Is it a good adaptation of the book?
Very,
and of the
very
film?
good, very, very good, yeah. And it was better than I thought. About 8 million was spent on the stage play. 1 million itself was spent on the mechanical car, which flies over the audience at the end. Yeah, very good, yeah. The car itself was actually was made for the film. There's 3 mock-ups of the film of Zim in Keswick. There's one in the Bewley Museum, but this is the only road-going original car which Dick Van Dyke drove in the film. Michael Jackson tried to buy the car 10 years ago for undisclosed sum, but I found out it was $750,000.
Is that all?
Which was turned down.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, turned down. I estimate it for 3 and 5 million.
Oh, most certainly.
And it probably definitely go to America.
And keep watching, kids, because at the end of the programme, we'll give you the chance to win a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang goodie bag. Throughout the day, there were many events taking place in the main arena, so this seemed like the ideal opportunity to step back in time to the gracious era of horse-drawn transport. Amongst the many horse-drawn coaches, carriage painted in the livery of gardeners, bakers and confectioners from Northampton. So who owns a fine carriage like this?
Well, it belongs to the Gardner family. They're still bakers in Kingsthorpe now. This vehicle was used until about 1934 or 5, delivering bread primarily and flour. Associate the baker with being cakes.
Yes.
But 50 years ago, they were primarily selling bread. The cakes would have been baked at home, and for that you would have needed the flour, so they were flour merchants. It was built by Beasley's of Ainsty, or Ansty, whichever you like to call it, near Leicester. It cost £27.70.
And you actually own it now? Do you renovate it, look after it, give it a again?
I look after it. Gardeners own it. We're job masters, basically, and that means that we horse things about. If anybody's got a vehicle and they want it on display, we've got the horsepower and the facilities to take it and put it on display.
Right.
Gardeners would use that for anybody who got a birthday, 100 years old or something like that. So just special occasions.
Right.
The posh one, as you call it, is a German vehicle, very ornate. It was restored 10 years ago and cost £8,000 to restore. and it is a beautiful vehicle, very light, very ornate, as in new condition. The fruit and veg vehicle is a little market cart, dealer's cart, whatever you would like to call it. And that's a nice old vehicle. Anybody who comes and looks at it will see how ornate it's all been carved. And people spend hours upon hours working on these vehicles. It's unbelievable. The London trolley, that's a nice little vehicle. And London trolleys were used all over the country for all sorts of things. Anything from... That one was actually used for pulling mussels out the sea at Yarmouth. But you saw them down in London, up in Yorkshire where I was, they'd put half a ton of coal on those and deliver the coal round to the houses. Our local stickman had one, he used to go and make bundles of sticks. Untold. I mean, it was the pickup of yesteryear.
Now, there was also a disabled vehicle going around the main arena.
There was, yes, yeah, and that's very close to my heart. Kathy Souter runs that, comes from Scaldwell, the same village as us. And that, it gives immense amount of pleasure to driving for the disabled. It's a very complex thing to do. A pony what's passed all its tests, if you like. The person has got to have passed all their safety exams. And then you've got to have the vehicle which has got a hydraulic ramp at the back. That young lady was actually sat on a seat, but you can wheel a wheelchair into the back of that. So if you're that disabled you can't get out of the chair, then you can drive from your wheelchair.
Right.
But it's a very complicated and complex to give one person, one disabled person, a driving lesson. But everything is worthwhile because the pleasure they get from it is really untold.
And that's all for now, but join us after the break when we'll have more from Holcot Steam Rally as Chuck goes for a ride in a helicopter. But first, here's your chance to win a goodie bag featuring this car. To enter, simply answer this question. In which film did this car feature? Was it A, The Italian Job, B, Citty Citty Bang Bang, or C, The Love Bug? If you know the answer, give us a call on Northampton 68 2000, Unit 2, the IO Centre, Lodge Farm, Duston, Northampton NN5 7UW. See you after the break.